everyone. I have a prenatal Pilates class for you today. Just because this class is pregnancy friendly though, it doesn't mean you have to be pregnant to do it. We've got a lot of great work throughout this class for everyone, but we will accommodate pregnancy. We won't be laying on our stomach or on our back, for example, and I will cue as if you are pregnant because I myself am pregnant. Now, I don't want to label this second or third trimester because every pregnancy is different, but for reference, I am 21 weeks along while filming this class. For equipment, we are going to incorporate a resistance band loop. Now, I'm using two. I have my light one for the start of class when we have more of an upper body focus, and then I am going to switch to a heavier one when we put it around our thighs for lower body work. You don't need to, though. If you're only going to do one, I would go on the lighter side of medium, though, probably. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Hello, my name is Nicole. I am a STOT-trained Pilates instructor and a pregnancy and postpartum corrective exercise specialist. So you are in good hands, but that being said, I'm not there in the room with you. So you are first and foremost going to listen to your doctor and you're going to listen to your body. If you feel dizzy or lightheaded at any point during this class, something's not feeling right, then stop. I have a total body workout for you today. We're going to start on the mat. We will finish class standing. Other than a resistance band, you don't need any equipment. However, we will start kneeling. So if it's more comfortable for you, you could put a blanket down for under your knees. Also, at one point, we will be seated. If sitting cross-legged is uncomfortable for you, you might want a yoga block to sit on or a pillow to elevate your hips, and that can make things a little more comfortable. All right, so let's get into our warm-up. We're going to come into a kneeling position. Again, you also have the option here to elevate your hips on a yoga block, and we can link the band around our thumbs, but just have your hands in your lap for now. We're going to start with some breathing, and we're going to establish this breath, and it'll carry us through everything we do. So a proper diaphragmatic breath is going to be inhale through the nose, and as you inhale through the nose, pelvic floor relaxes. Think of expanding three-dimensionally through your rib cage, and it's a slow inhale. The exhale is out through your mouth, also slow, it's audible. And as you exhale, you think of lifting the pelvic floor and engaging through the abdominal wall. So think about lifting the baby up and in towards you, giving it a little hug. Inhale, relax. Exhale. Make sure on that inhale, it's not getting trapped in your shoulders. You're not shrugging the shoulders up to your ears. They are relaxed. Instead, you're thinking rib cage gets wider and expands. Twice more. Last breath. And I just want you to bring your arms up to chest height and shoulders distance apart. Band can be hooked around your thumbs. Actually, you'll probably want to grab it. And we're going to row and rotate. So on your next exhale, I want you to take that right elbow, start to row it back. And I want you to rotate open to the right as you row back. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, other side. So we are rotating through the mid-spine, so don't over-rotate the neck. The mid-spine starts it, and your neck just follows in line. As you row that elbow back, you're thinking of drawing the shoulder blade in towards midline, in towards your spine. Moving with our breath, exhale. It's that same lift and brace. Let's go one more time each side. And then bringing both arms forward, we're just going to retract and protract the shoulder blades, keeping gentle tension on the band. You want your hands to stay about shoulders distance apart. So I'll turn to face the side just so you can kind of better see what I'm doing. I'm sliding my shoulder blades in towards each other, and then I'm sliding them wide apart towards my armpits. Now, as I do this, I'm trying not to flare open through the ribs or arch into my back or jut my head forward. I'm trying to stay neutral through the spine, so I'm really isolating the scapular movement, the shoulder blades gliding across the back of my rib cage. Sometimes, whether or not you're pregnant, but especially as you progress into pregnancy, things can get sticky through the mid-back, and our shoulders can want to round forward. So I'm trying to keep us mobile through our mid-spine and the scapula. Give me one more, retract, protract, and then we're going to come into a tabletop position. So we're going to take the band. You want it wrapped, mirroring me. You want it wrapped around your left palm, gripped in your right fist. And then we will come to tabletop. So knees are under hips. You're going to spread out through that left hand, and then your right knuckles are on the ground. Now we're going to do that same row rotation, but we're just going to do it in a tabletop position. First, make sure you're neutral through the spine, length through the back of the neck so your head isn't hanging down low. We inhale to prepare. As you exhale, feel the lift of the pelvic floor, the hug of the bump in towards you, and then we row that right elbow and rotate open to the right. Inhale, return it to center. Moving with our breath. Again, where is that rotation coming from? Your mid-spine, not your neck, okay? So the neck is just following suit. So don't think of shifting your gaze over your shoulder. Mid-spine is the driver, neck is the passenger. Now we're going to keep this going, but we are going to add in a closed rotation as well. So we're going to exhale, we're going to rotate open to the right, and then as you inhale, I want you to bring the right fist across towards your left hand, and I want you to rotate over to the left. Exhale, row and rotate open. Inhale, lower and rotate closed. So just moving through that mid-back. Now, depending on where you are in your pregnancy, the closed rotation might feel a little uncomfortable. If it does, just stick with the open rotation. But if it's feeling good, then I want you to do it. I want you to move through that spine. Give me just one more. You're going to close the rotation. You're going to open the rotation, and then I want you to hold the row, but I want you to square your chest towards the floor, okay? Now, from here, we're going to tune our attention to the stationary left side, and we're going to retract and protract. So we did this in the warm-up. We're repeating a lot of our warm-up moves, which is why we did them in the warm-up, in this tabletop position. So my left shoulder blade is sliding into midline towards my spine, and then I'm pushing the mat away as that left shoulder blade slides wide. Push. So on that push, as we protract, we are activating the serratus anterior, a very cool muscle. Sometimes it's called the peanut butter muscle because it's kind of smeared between the ribs and that shoulder blade. Give me 4, 3, right knuckles come down, and 2, and 1. Push the mat away. Now bring your right knuckles down. Stay soft through this right elbow so that your chest is square to the mat. Now on an exhale, we're going to take our left leg and we're going to extend it long. So we inhale to prepare. Exhale. Feel the brace of the core, and you're going to extend your left leg back and up, firing into the glutes. Inhale, bring it back in. So what are we looking for as we do this? First, we're making sure we're not arching into our lower back as the leg lifts up, okay? It's a squeeze of the glutes, not a dip of that lower back that creates the lift. Second, we're making sure we're not dumping all of our weight into the outer right hip. So think right hip stays stacked over right knee. Now you can stay here with just the leg extending, or we're going to add back in the row on the right side, no rotation. It would be exhale, connect, row, and extend that opposite leg. Inhale, bring everything down. I know that stabilizing left shoulder is doing a lot of work. Stick with me just a little longer. 4 more, and then you're going to hold with the leg extended up. 3 more. Don't rush the movement, okay? It's really important that we move with our breath to establish that connection to our deep core. Last time here, and you are going to hold at the top. So left leg is lifted, right elbow's in a row. Now keeping the left leg at a hover, let's do that closed to open rotation. So on an inhale, you're gonna reach right knuckles towards left hand. You're gonna rotate closed to the left. As you exhale, row and rotate open. Again, if the closed rotation isn't feeling good, you're just gonna do that open rotation. Keep reaching long through that left heel. Active through the glutes. Ooh, I almost fell. Give me 3, 2. Last time, row. Now hold the row, square the chest, retract, protract on that left side to finish. Left shoulder blade glides in and out. This is sometimes called a serratus push-up or a scapular push-up because it's that push-up movement, but we keep the arms straight and we just glide the shoulder blade. Give me 5. Push the mat away. 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees down, sit your bum on your heels and just roll out those shoulders for me. Good job. So we're going to repeat that series on the other side. Switch direction of the shoulder circles. And you can take a second to roll out your wrists. So if the added resistance of the band gets to be too much at any point, you can always ditch it. This is the only work we're going to do in tabletop, so wrists are completely off the hook after this. So we're going to switch the anchor of our band. So if you look to me and mirror me, now you're going to anchor it around the right palm and you're going to grip it in your left fist so you can do the row. Let's come through tabletop. So we're going to ground down through that right hand, really spreading out through the fingers. Knees are hips distance apart. And we're just going to start with that row. Now with this stationary left arm, just check in. Are you locked and hyperextended through the elbow? My elbows always want to hyperextend. It's something I'm constantly conscious of. Just soften them a little, okay? And we're going to, on our exhale, row that right elbow up and back. Palm faces into midline. Inhale, release it. Every time we exhale, we're thinking, lift to the pelvic floor, engage the abdominals, as if you could kind of hug your baby up and in towards you. Now we're going to keep this row going, but we're going to add in that rotation. So as you row, you're going to rotate open to the left. Oh, I think on the other side, I started immediately with the rotation. Sorry. You got like 4 reps on this side extra. That's okay. Exhale. Rotate. Oh, it feels so good to move my mid-spine like this. Now you can stay with just the open rotation, but if it feels okay, we're going to add in the closed rotation. So you exhale, row, open and twist to the left. And then as you inhale, bring the left knuckles down towards your inner right hand. And we're going to rotate our chest slightly over to the right. Now, as you do this, I want you to notice if you're kind of sinking into your back like this. We're not doing a cat-cow. So you're trying to maintain a long spine and just adding in that rotation. So think length. And when you do the closed rotation and you bring your chest over to that right arm, don't sink down into the shoulder, but rather think push the mat away, and just rotate, get that chest over the other side. Three. 2. 1 more row open, and then I want you to hold the row, but I want you to square the chest so we're level to the floor. Retract, protract this right side, okay? So your stationary right side. So your torso is lowering and lifting, maintaining that length and that connection to the core as the right shoulder blade glides wide and glides in. Glide it in, push the floor away. Give me 5. Left knuckles come down in 4, 3, 2, 1. Press the mat away. So bring your left knuckles down towards the mat, and now it is going to be the right leg that extends back on your next exhale. Think breath first, initiate the connection to the pelvic floor and core, and then you kick that right leg back and up, squeezing into the glutes. Inhale, bring it back. Keep moving with your breath. We're not crunching into the waist as we do this, so think equal length through both sides of the waist. Left hip is staying anchored over left knee, and we're not arching into the lower back. A great way to prevent that arching into the lower back is to really think breath first, feel the connection to your deep core before you move the leg away. Now you can stay here with just the leg, or we're going to add back in that row on the opposite side. Exhale, left elbow rose, right leg kicks back, and bring it back. Four more and then we'll hold. You're going to give me 2. And the next time you row and kick back, we are going to hold with that right leg extended, and we're going to do the row and rotation. So you lower on an inhale, twist to the right. You exhale, row, open to the left. Keep reaching long through that right leg, and try not to twist through the hips. So as you close the rotation, we're not peeling open through the hips. Think right hip is pulling down in line with the left, and that rotation is coming from the mid-spine. One final variation. We are going to hold the row. We retract and protract to finish. Last 2. Last 1. Hold the row. Square the chest. Reach long through the leg. Retract, protract on this right side to finish. Shoulder blade glides in. Press the mat away. In and press. Down and press. You give me 5. 4, 3, 2, last 1. Press the mat away, knees down. Sit your bum on your heels, actually cross at the ankles, and let's come all the way through to a cross-legged position. I'm going to turn to face you. And this is the point where if it's uncomfortable, you can sit on a pillow or put a yoga block under your knees. Let's just do some shoulder rolls before we move on to the next section. Awesome work. All right, so we can check our tabletop work off the list. We're going to come into some seated upper body work. This section will be quick, and then we will move the band to our thighs. We're going to move into some side body work. For this section, I would recommend sticking with your light band if you are using 2 different ones in this class. And we're going to put the band around our forearms just below our wrist. Make sure it's not right on the joint. We want to make sure that we are sitting up tall. If you're having trouble sitting up tall and you find yourself rounding forward, sit on a yoga block, okay? Elevate those hips, or even sit in a chair or on a stool, okay? It'll help a lot. So we're open through the chest, but we're connected to the core, so no flaring open of the ribs as we arch into the back. And we're going to start with a bent raise. So you're going to lift those elbows up and out to the side, and then you're going to lower them down. Exhale, lift up and out. Now we're not shrugging the shoulders up to the ears. The elbows are lifting up. You might see a little elevation of the shoulders because our scapula are moving like that, and that's okay. I just don't want you pulling them up. So in this class, we have a lot of love for the shoulders, and especially playing around with that connection between the shoulders and the mid-back. The shoulder blades live on the mid-back, so it's not just arm plugging into your shoulder socket. It's also what's going on with the shoulder blades on our back. Shoulders are a very complicated, amazing, cool joint. So we're just going to go through a little series of arm movements. Coming up next, we are going to hold the elbows lifted and we're going to take it into a wide row. Give me 4 more here. 3, 2, next time those elbows lift up and out, you're going to hold them up and out. Now I want you to reach the arms forward as you do, rotate palms in towards each other, and then I want you to row the elbows back, rotating palms down towards the ground. As you row those elbows back, shoulder blades glide in towards each other, but without moving the spine, okay? So we maintain that length, that connection to our core. Exhale, lift to the pelvic floor. When we connect movement to breath like this and really focus on the pelvic floor lift, the hug of the baby up and in, it really turns every exercise into a core exercise, which is amazing. 3 more. 2, 1. Pause with your arms reaching forward, palms facing in towards each other. Make sure you're still open through the chest, just a little pulse out on the band. Now, if these get to be too heavy, you could also switch to using a long band or even holding light hand weights if that's more comfortable. Or ditch the equipment and just do the movements body weight only. Great place to start. In 4, hold out. In 3, 2, 1, hold tension on the band. I just want you to bend the elbows, okay? They are still lifted. From here, you're gonna reach the arms overhead and out, kind of like a V shape, and then you're just gonna bring the elbows back down. Reach it overhead and bring it down. You have just 1 more variation, then we'll shake it out before repeating. Reach it up overhead and down, getting a nice upper body challenge here. If this is not challenging, it's a sign maybe you need to go a little heavier with the band. Now, when the arms go overhead, if you're tight through the shoulder joint and you're noticing it's causing you to arch into your back and puff open through the front of your ribs, then I want you to think of lifting up at an angle instead. So up and forward, just so that we work within the range available to us in our shoulders. You're going to hold the arms overhead in 2. Next time those arms go overhead or overhead and slightly forward, whatever works for you, pulse out on that band to finish. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the arms and we do those shoulder rolls. Woo. Okay, we're going to go through that one more time. And I want you to switch the cross of your ankles if you are still sitting on the floor cross-legged. So whichever one was in front, let's just switch. Doesn't make a huge difference, no, but it does kind of shift the weight on our hip bones. So let's go through it a second time, evening everything out, even if it is a minor difference. Okay, ready? One more time through, we got this. Band is around our forearms, below the wrists, elbows bent at 90, palms face in, open through the chest, sitting up nice and tall. We start with that bent raise, lifting and lowering. Exhale it up and down. Now in our side body series, we will be supporting ourselves on our shoulders a little bit. So I don't want us too burnt out. So the second time through, we're gonna go through the movements a little quicker. In 4, hold them lifted, we switch it to the row. In 3, 2, 1, take it to the row. Palms face in, palms face the floor. Arms reach long, elbows draw back as the scapula glide in towards each other. Don't counter the backwards pull of the elbows with a jutting forward of your head. Give me 4, 3, arms reach forward. In 2, 1, arms reach forward, palms face in, pull apart on the band. It's like a reverse fly pulse. Out, out. We're going to bend the elbows, arms overhead, pulse 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, keep tension on the band, bend the elbows to 90. Reach up and press out, bend them back down. Up and out and down. Whoo. Arms don't have to go straight overhead if that is causing you to compensate through your spine. So you can always reach them up and forward. In 2, hold at the top. Last 1, hold those arms over top, pulse out to finish. Give me 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the band. Okay. So we're going to switch and have the band around our thighs for the remainder of class. So I am going to ditch my light band and I'm going to go a little heavier now that the focus will be lower body. Mostly lower body, obliques and shoulders have to work a little bit throughout this as well though. So mirroring me, let's come on to our left side. And if you had a blanket for extra padding for your knees, you can ditch it now. I'm just going to toss mine off to the side. There we go. Okay, so we're going to come onto our left side. Now, if your shoulders are done for the day, then you can do the first part of this laying all the way down instead of propping yourself up. Eventually, we will need to be propped up though, okay? So I want your elbow and hips in line with each other to start so that the spine is long and neutral and the knees are hopped forward a little bit. Press the mat away, lifted through the side body. We're going to abduct this top leg, keeping it bent. So you're going to exhale, lift that leg up, pressing against the band. Inhale, lower it down. So we're going to show the hip joint a lot of attention now through the end of class. Shoulders got their moment. Now let's focus in on hips. Hip discomfort is a common complaint through pregnancy. I know that sleeping on my side is really tricky for me. I'm used to sleeping on my back, so I'm definitely waking up with cranky hips. Working on it though. But incorporating a lot of hip work into these prenatal Pilates classes will serve us all well as we deal with that. So I'm keeping the leg pretty parallel. So it's not a clamshell. I'm not just lifting the knee, I'm lifting the whole leg and I'm thinking of reaching long and up. As the leg lifts up, I'm not collapsing down, so stay lifted through the side body. Exhale. Again, every exercise comes back to the core. So move with your breath. Now we're going to keep this going, but we're going to add in a kick straight of this top leg. So you're going to lift it, holding it lifted, kick it straight and forward, bend at the knee, lower down. You lift and kick, bend the knee and lower. We're going to hold with the leg straight and we're going to trace little circles up next. So next time that leg is lifted, keep the tension against the band, kick it straight. Can you trace little circles for me? Woo! Now if it's too much with the leg forward, sweep it back a little bit, okay? It doesn't have to be at a super forward angle. In 4, switch, 3, 2, 1, switch direction of the circle, circle it back. It's the leg circling within the hip joint. We're not rolling through the hips. Give me 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Bend the knee and stack them down. Now I want you to hop the knees back just a little bit, a few inches back, and I want you to bring your elbow forward a little bit. So now the knee and elbow are in line with each other and the hips are a little farther back. We're going to do that same lift of the top leg, but we're going to add in a lift of the hips as well, coming into a modified side plank. So exhale, lift to the pelvic floor, hug in that baby bump, then we lift up and press against the band. And we lower the hips down. Get that engagement first. Lift and brace. Then we come up. Give me 4 more. Breath first. Feel the support of your abdominals and pelvic floor before you lift off. 3. 2. Next time you come up, you're going to hold. 1. Hold. Top leg is pressing up. Can you kick it straight? Can you give me those same little circles? Just 4, 3, 2, 1, switch direction, back, back, you can do it. 4, 3, it's quick, 2, 1, bend the knees, lower the hips down, press yourself up, and let's take a side stretch. Woo! Left arm sweeps up and over. All right, so we're going to repeat that series on the other side. So coming up, I want you to swing your legs around. Make sure that band is around your thighs, a few inches above the knees. Right forearm is going to come down, and the starting alignment is elbow and hip in line, knees forward. You can play around with how forward though. Like if you're feeling clicking in your hips when your knees are really far forward, try bringing them back a little bit, and that might feel better through the hip joint, okay? Hips stacked one on top of the other, press them out away, engage to the bottom side body. Exhale, feel the engagement, abduct that top leg. Left leg lifts up. Don't lift it up so high that you collapse into the bottom side body, so we're staying lifted. And don't let the band just fling the leg back down. So really think lift, squeeze at the top, resist down. Squeeze at the top, controlled lower. So after we do this side, we're going to come to stand, and we're just going to finish with some centering work, continuing to target the hips. And we finish with sort of a hold, a stretch that I think feels so good and is a movement that you can do anytime throughout pregnancy. If you're feeling back pelvic tightness, and I'll show you what it is. I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get there. Let's add in the kick straight. You lift, kick, bend, and lower. We're going to hold the legs straight. We're going to go into those circles. Those circles are tough for me. I don't know about you. Maybe I shouldn't have gone to my heavy band. Next time that leg kicks straight, hold it straight, little circles. If the leg feels too far forward, swing it back a little bit. Circle. Not swaying through the rest of the body, just the leg pressing against that band. And 4, you switch in 3, 2, 1. Switch direction of the circles. Keep tension on the band. Tight circle, tight circle. Give me 4. Woo! 3, 2, 1. Bend the knee, lower. Now we're going to slightly adjust our setup. I want you to bring your forearm forward a little bit, and you might need to hop your hips back. So now I want elbows in line with knee, hips a little far behind, but we'll bring the hips forward and up as we come into our lift. All right, we got that. Hips stacked one on top of the other. This is really important to breathe. Feel the engagement, feel the lift. Once you have that support, then the hips lift up and forward, the top leg abducts, come into that modified side plank, lower it down. Now, if you can't get that support, if when you do this, you're feeling pressure down, you're feeling pressure out instead of feeling that brace, then I would dial down the intensity of this one, and maybe you just go back to the leg lift, okay? Or try it without the band. 4 more and we have the hold. Twice more. Next time up, you're going to hold. Hold. Kick the leg straight. Keep pushing against the band. Tiny little circles. It's quick. 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch direction of the circle to finish. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees. Stack them. Use your hand to press yourself up. Give me a counter stretch. Oh, right arm sweeps up. Short and spicy. Okay, so now we're going to come up to stand to finish up class. Keep the band around your thighs. Okay, so I want you standing at one end of your mat. You want some tension on the band, so your feet are probably going to be about shoulders distance apart. Spread out through the toes, ground down through the feet, and you're just going to give me a squat. So on an inhale, you're going to send the hips back, bend through the knees, stay open through the chest. As you exhale, you're going to press your feet into the floor, come up to stand. Now your knees are tracking in line with the middle to pinky toes. So you keep pressing gently out on that band, not letting those knees cave inward. So that side body work, when we were doing that hip lift, that was targeting our glute med. Your glute med is at play here as well with that press out on the band. So there's a reason behind the order in which we do things. Got that glute med good and fired up before we get into our squats. Now you're going to hold in a semi-squat position, not as low as you can go, but next time I want you to come down about halfway, okay? So we're in the semi-squat position, and we're just going to start to shift our weight over to one side, lifting the other foot off of the mat. Quick little balance, and then come through center. Other side, shift it. Can we lift the foot? Keep pressing against the band, little balance. Come through center. So it's this little slow rock side to side, coming to balance on one side, just a quick balance, center. Keep pressing out through the band, nice and active, through the hips here. Now we're going to keep doing this, but we're going to increase the time we stay in the balance, and we're going to add in 3 little pulses of the hovering leg. So next time you come to a balance, can you hold here and pulse out on the band with your hovering leg? 3, 2, 1, come through your center semi-squat. Shift to the other side. Can you pulse out? 3, 2, 1, come through center. Now, if balance is not happening for you today, I just want you to stick with the little rock side to side. You do not need to add in these pulses. I don't know why, but this kind of like rocking back and forth is reminding me of like fee, fi, fo, fum. Anyway, that can be the new name of this exercise, fee, fi, fo, fumming. We're going to do one more to either side. Last time, shift and balance. Give me 3, pulse 2, 1. Come through that center squat. Make sure your feet are pointing straight ahead, and we're just going to duck walk. Walk up to the end of your mat. Keep reaching the hips back, staying in the semi-squat position. Really ground down through the foot with each step. Keep pressing out on the band, and then reverse it. You're going to duck walk backwards. Feet stay pointing straight ahead, so try not to flip out through them and really ground down through the foot. Ground down. Keep pressing through the band. When you reach your starting point, let's start from the top with the squats. Up and down. Up and down. We're going to repeat that series one more time. We'll have that feel-good position that I told you about, that I hyped up, and then we'll cool it down. Next time you come down into your squat, just come into your semi-squat. It doesn't have to be super low. And from here, let's do our little shift side to side. Shift it, lift. Keep pressing out against the band. Side to side. Keeping the outer hips, glute med nice and active. Can you add in those 3 little pulses? Come to balance. Pulse up with the hovering leg for 3, for 2, and 1. Come through center squat, other side. Now, as we do this, we're not rounded forward through the spine. So think open through the chest, connected to that mid-back. We did lots of mid-back connection earlier in class. Keep it fired up. Let's do one more time each side. Last time, come to your balance, pulse at 3, 2, 1, plant down in that semi-squat. We duck walk, reach the hips back, open through the chest, plant down through the foot, little step, forward, forward, keep pressing out against the band. When you reach the top of your mat, we move backwards, step back, back. Not huge rocking side to side with our torso. And when you reach that starting point, I want you to stand it up. Woo! Okay, so for this final movement, you can keep the band around your thighs. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to make a difference. Not too big of a difference anyway. I want you to step your feet out just slightly wider than shoulders distance. So probably about as wide as your mat. Now we're going to find internal rotation. So pivoting on your heels one at a time, I want you to wrap the thigh inward, and then other side, wrap the thigh inward. So our toes are pointing in. Now from here, we're going to bend through the knees and we're going to hinge the hips back. So allow your knees to unlock, slide your butt back in this internally rotated position, okay? So think the head of your thigh bone is rolling inward, okay? Now in this internally rotated kind of funky position, I want you to think of really grounding down through your feet, push them into the mat, and then press out through your feet as if you're trying to pull your mat apart, okay? So the feet aren't actually moving, but we just created this pull, this traction outward. Did you just feel that through the back of your hips? Did you feel them engage and kind of open? To me, this feels so good. And we're just gonna hold here for a little bit. Keep dragging the feet outward. So it's an active movement. This isn't exactly restful, but if you are experiencing back pelvic floor tightness, finding internal rotation in the hips can be really helpful. Our hip joints directly linked to our pelvic floor attaches on the inside of our hips, okay? Press, pull apart through the pull apart. Give me 3, we're gonna reset in 2, 1, flip the feet forward, stand it up. So if that felt good, let's do it one more time, okay? Feet a little wider than shoulders distance apart, one at a time. Let's think, wrap inward, internal rotation, wrap inward. So those feet are pointing in. We're gonna slide the hips back, unlock through the knees as you do. So we're nice and open through the back of the pelvis. Now we're gonna ramp it up a notch, press your feet down into the mat, pull them apart like you're trying to slide the feet outward. Woo! Did you feel that whole hip joint kind of light up? Feels so good to me. So I do this if I wake up and I'm really uncomfortable from sleeping on my sides. I'll just do some hip circles when I first get up, and then I come into this position and it's like, oh, it feels really good. Weird, but good. Hold here for 3. We'll cool it down in 2. And 1, stand it up. You can ditch the band. Awesome job. Shoulder and hip love was the theme today. So standing up, let's just trace some semicircles. So you're just gonna step one leg up and over and kind of rotating open towards it, and then just step it up and over back. Just opening up through the hip joint here. Open it up, step it like there's a log or something there, up and over, up and over. Other side, step it up, peel the hips open, step it back, square them, open it up. Square them one more time. Standing up, I want you to interlace your fingers in front, flip the palms forward, and I just want you to push them forward and round forward. So open up through that mid-back area and just breathe here for a couple. Let's stack the spine up tall, interlace the fingers behind your back, press the knuckles away, and then lift up. So now we get a nice stretch through the front of the shoulders and the chest. And let's finish up class with just a couple energizing breaths together. So we're gonna inhale, you're gonna sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, you're gonna let them go. One more time, inhale them up. Exhale, let it go. And that is your class. Awesome job today. I hope you enjoyed class. If you did, be sure you are subscribed to my channel. I post prenatal classes every Tuesday and Thursday, with classes filmed prior to my pregnancy on Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Fridays are kind of a free for all. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for moving with me today, and I'll see you next time.